recording to the cloud. So hi, everyone. Amanda, how are you? I'm just playing with Zoom options, clicking Zoom things to see how that all works out. Thanks for coming tonight, just to see how servers work and what's going on with them. They're not that bad. It's stuff that could very easily be figured out and seen, and I have to keep admitting people. What happens if I change my view? What happens if I pin me? There we go. Maybe that will make the video better. Who knows? So yeah, so for those people who are just showing up now, who have been showing up later, I don't have the chat window open. I'm not going to be paying attention to it. So if you have any questions, you'll need to unmute and talk to me. Or I don't know, maybe Zoom has a raise hand thing. Honestly, I don't know. I don't use Zoom very often. I'm going to, while I'm still recording, I'm going to try to share my screen. Maybe, yeah, share my whole screen. Why not? How is everyone tonight? Everyone's so quiet. I like it when people talk to me.
I'm good. How are you?
Yay, I'm good, thank you.
There's real people here in the abyss.
Yay. Well, you know what? I figured, I know some of these names I recognize, a lot of the names I recognize. So hi, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks so much for hosting this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
I really think that once you start seeing the information that I have for you, you're going to see that it's not difficult. Like, this is stuff that you all could just go and figure out in Google. And of course, if any questions come up, or if you have any questions later, you can always email me, amanda.lutz@senecacollege.ca. Participant requests that live transcript be enabled for the meeting. I'm going to enable that. I don't know what it does. I think it's still recording. Is it still recording? Does it say it's still recording somewhere?
Yeah, and you get automatic subtitles.
I've got like some stuff over here and sharing the screen, and the subtitles are at the bottom. It's crazy. Anyway, let's just get on it. So my plan for this discussion was just to kind of flow. Like, if you've got questions, something that you want to ask about, I'm happy to, divert and get away from whatever it is. And yeah, but as sort of a primer, as a seed, these are the topics that I thought that I would, get started on, just touch with. A server is just a computer. That's all it is, especially for those in the later semesters in 320 and in 420. The light server, your computer that you're sitting at right now, and you create a directory for this project, and the light server is running in that directory, that's a server. Your computer with multiple directories where you can go here and run the light server, or go here and run the light server, or go here and run the light server, that's the same as a real server. It's just that it's not, instead of a light server running one directory, end users can get to any of the directories on the machine. That's it. I do want to talk a little bit about domain registration and where you could host your site. There are lots of options when it comes to hosting. You could do shared hosting, and I'll talk about what that is and some options for them, versus a hosted service like WordPress.com or Squarespace or Wix, or a bunch of these other things. Of course, oh wait, more people need to be admitted. Of course, there are always paid options, but you're students, so that could really potentially kind of suck. I did find a free option with GitHub that I haven't tried yet, so we can try that out together. I thought I could play with it here while you all watch me fail and swear. And then finally, I just want to talk about getting files on the server. Like, throughout all of the semesters, 120 through 420, it's been added. Okay, sorry. Many windows everywhere doing stuff. So once you've made these like awesome front end pages for these assignments and all of these other things, how do you get them on the server so that people in the rest of the world can actually see them? So you can share the link with your mom. That's some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight. Does that make sense? Do you feel that there's any broad overall topic that I've like completely missed that maybe I should start thinking about while I'm talking about these other things?
No, I don't think so. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
For
just
those,
how to send it up and upload it, and any recommended websites or what we could use for hosting.
yeah, for sure. We can go through all of that. For the few people who I've just admitted more recently, this is being recorded. There are transcripts happening. I am not checking out the chat. So if you all want to use the chat for talking to each other, that's fine. I can't pay attention to it. I have too much going on already. Okay, so yeah, so like I was saying, a server is just a computer, but web browsers can get to many different directories. And I'll get into this a little bit more when I talk about shared hosting and how that's set up. For domain registration, that's obviously, senecacollege.ca. It's the domain name that people type into their browser to get to your website. So if you want your own unique domain name, for sure you can go purchase that domain. I say purchase, but you're actually renting it because you have to buy it now for a couple years and then buy it later for a couple years, like another couple years, and keep renewing it. It is getting to the point where finding domain names are starting to get tricky. Like there's only a finite number of words that make sense in an order for a website. Of course, they keep putting out, I don't know exactly what they're called, but like .com, .ca, .biz, .net, .io. Like there's more and more and more and more of these. Postfix? Prefix would be before, I guess, postfix. So like you can suffix. Thank you. Amanda is not awesome at English. So yeah, so it's for sure that these domain registrations, if you want to shell out that money to have something that is yours, you totally can do that. The domain that you register, it can be used with either a hosting package, like we'll talk about in a couple minutes, or sometimes if you want to pay a higher level at like a hosted service. So like Squarespace or Wix. So yeah, you could, for WordPress.com, you could have when you sign up for free with WordPress.com, the URL would be your username.wordpress.com. But if you pay for one of their packages, then you could actually have the WordPress.com accessible by the domain name that you've already registered. If you go and Google register domain name, there are hundreds, thousands of different places that you can go and get this registered at. And they're all really the same. Like I don't think that just registering the domain will get you anything special or anything different based on where you're actually purchasing it. I feel in my heart, I would like to have my domain names registered at a separate site than where I have my hosting. Just recently, my hosting company sent me a notification that they were moving me and my websites, all of my multiple websites, to a different server, and they completely messed up the server setup. Like PHP components were supposed to be installed but were not installed. It took them like 2 weeks and multiple support calls and like texts and emails and chat messages to get them to fix it. So I need to renew my hosting in March. I might go with a different company, but because my domain names are registered somewhere else separate, I don't need to worry about that. So it's like, I personally like to keep them separate, but there are a lot of hosting companies where they're like, oh, if you buy hosting with us for a month, you get a domain name for free for the first year. Again, you're only renting it. You then have to start paying for it after that. For my domain registration, I personally use namespro.ca. But like I said, you can register a domain name pretty much anywhere. Okay, let's check out. Yeah, so different types of web hosting, of web servers. Besides the hosted services, which is something completely different, the WordPress.com, the Squarespace, the Wix, that's where you pay a company or you sign up with a company to have your website be there. And they're usually some way to there's usually some way to create the website, like a content management system. WordPress.com, you just go and log in and you start adding content. You can pick from like one of four or five themes. It's the same with Wix, it's the same as Squarespace. So all of those hosted services, you go and you sign up and you pay if you need to pay, and then you can just start putting in content. It's pretty simple. With the actual hosting packages, you might go and decide that you want to dish out some money, but you want access, you want to be in control of all of your code. They typically have 3 different types of hosting packages. Shared hosting is definitely going to be enough for your purposes. You want to throw up a couple HTML files. Shared hosting is more than enough. What happens here is that, like I was talking about before, there is one machine, one physical machine that has a bunch of different directories. Here's your directory. Anyone that goes to the URL will only point at this directory. Here's my directory. Anybody who types in my URL can only go to my directory. Sorry, my throat. Thanks. This other directory that's down here, it's somebody else's, some other customer. For bigger projects, that's maybe not the most secure. For these cheaper of these types of packages, they definitely give you the least amount of resources. But it's for your purposes, it's definitely going to be enough. And then they always have other types of packages where you get more databases. You're not going to need that. Where you get like faster load times. You're not going to need that right now. Dedicated hosting, where it's only your site that lives on this entire server. You're obviously not going to need that at all. So here, let me share. Let me drag over this window. So the company that I am at currently is typing Web Hosting Hub. Like I said, I've had some problems with them recently. I'm going to put this stuff in the chat. Does anyone know on a Zoom recording, does the chat information show up?
Yeah, it does.
Hooray, thank you. Yeah, so Web Hosting Hub is who I'm currently using. I'm very medium about them right now. I might be leaving. But if you go to plans and pricing, you can see that $5.99 a month if you pay for 3 years. So I think it ends up being like $250 for the 3 years. And then Nitro is the better, and Dynamo is like the highest speed. You're not going to need any of that. Some of my clients are on Web Hosting Canada. Yeah, there it is. As you can see, there's like DigitalOcean and there's Bluehost, and I know people on them and they're all fine. And Web Hosting Canada, I have clients that are on this as well. Where is their hosting and servers? So yeah, so as you can see here, it's like the Canadian web hosting is like $3.89 a month. It's actually pretty good. I might be going here. Oh, but then I think they also had like some security problems like back in the fall, but they were resolved quickly. Like there's never going to be like the be all and end all. Like everyone is going to go here. Everyone used to use GoDaddy, and quite frankly, I think GoDaddy is the worst. They make baby Jesus cry. But yeah, what's another one? Bluehost. I just out there, .com. So yeah, here's some more hosting. I'll share this over here too. Yeah, I got it. Hosting, shared hosting. So again, $3 a month. Oh, for a 12-year term. That's not bad. If you want to pay, you're not going to need anything more than this basic server package. Okay, let me just keep looking at this for a second. So with the shared hosting, how does it work? Each website, it has the user accounts files, and they're stored in a separate partition on the server. And then each partition has its own file directory tree. So if I share my Later on in a couple slides, when we talk about how to get your files on the server, just use an FTP client. FileZilla is free. It works on both Mac and PC. I think that there are other options, other like Mac specific options. You can go and Google it. I just like using FileZilla. If I come here and if we look at mine, unfortunately, I can't zoom in with FileZilla. So I hope you can see this. Sorry. So as you can see, here's my partition for my account. I have my public _HTML. That's where all of my files go. On this particular hosting package, I can have like subdomains. I can have other parked domains. So as you can see, I've got posterpals.amandalutz.com, qmark.amandalutz.com, sidewalk bingo. So those would be royalcan.amandalutz.com. Those would be subdomains. Again, this is probably a bit advanced, not something that you're going to need to get into in the beginning. But these are all still part of my account. Stuffylove.com, that is another completely different domain, completely different website that I have, that I own, well, that I purchased the domain name. Same with Sidewalk Bingo. So they're all sitting on the same server in the same location in my account, in my directory. But even if I keep trying to go higher, it's not going to let me. It's almost like, for example, let's say that on, for any, I'm sure it's the same with the Mac, but I know that for any Windows users out there, you can set up your admin account and then you can set up other profiles. So the other profiles are like stuck in C users, their name, they can't go anywhere else, whereas the administrator can get to C users, all of the different profiles. So that's kind of how the shared hosting works. Yeah, users don't have access to either the server root, they only have access to like their web root. And then all accounts share the same computing resources. So where do you put your files? It's going to depend on the hosting company that you're using, but you can see here that with mine, it is typically it's public _HTML. For those in the 3rd semester class and the 4th semester class, where I keep, forcing you to create that public directory. And then for the light server, change the base dir to that public directory. It's the same as setting up this public HTML. If I go in here, here's my index. Index.php, index.html, like that's the homepage for my site. And then even on these other domains that I have, Sidewalk Bingo. If I go in there, there's a public _HTML. If I go back to Stuffy Love, there is my public _HTML. So that's like the web root. That is where all of the files that the browser can see is in that public _HTML company. Sometimes the publicly accessible directory is called web. It's all going to depend on the hosting company. Oof, sorry. Are there any questions so far about, I'm gonna sneeze, any? Excuse me, sorry about that. Any questions about stuff that we're going over so far?
I just saw you there was index.php. Are we gonna learn PHP anytime soon?
No.
No.
No, PHP is considered a server-side language,
Server-side, yeah.
and this program at Seneca only does front-end development.
Cool.
Anyone else? Oh, so yeah, so this was the next slide. Just getting files on, just FileZilla. You can just drag and drop files back and forth from your local machine up over there. And that's it. So unfortunately, right now, everything that we have talked about has been paid. Got to pay for the registry, for the domain name. You got to pay for the hosting. You got to everything else. If you went to, for example, like Wix, we'll look at Squarespace after. Wix pricing, like $36 a month. Oh wait, unlimited, why is that? Oh, Connect domain, the most basic, $6.50 a month. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. But still, look at, you've got the Wix ads. You've got a free domain for 1 year. You can set up a custom domain. That's okay. No videos, none of this other stuff. I don't think it's worth it. Squarespace. Templates getting started. Products. Selling or rebrand. I just want to get some prices. Hire an expert. Portfolios. Resources. Oops. No. Yeah, I'm not sure how much Squarespace costs if we do this. Ads, Wix versus Squarespace, all pricing plans. So why couldn't you just link to that? Yeah, so $12 a month. And that's if you pay annually. So this is it's not cheap. Definitely if you use like this like hosted service, it definitely adds up. But then if you go to wordpress.com, it's weird, wordpress.org will let you download all of the WordPress files so that you can use it on your own hosted site. But if you go to wordpress.com, you can go and sign in, and they have a free plan, free. Oh, you can just start with free. And then for personal use, you can like have your own domain, but it's like, even that's $5 a month. God, for that price, I'd almost rather go with the Wix. And it removes the WordPress.com ads. But if you're just wanting something basic, something that looks kind of bloggy, something that you could like maybe use like to show off your portfolio a little bit, absolutely, you could start with the free. And then you could decide later if you want to start paying for that.
Just a question. I don't know a lot. What do you think about Wix? Never use it. I don't have any experience with it. Just other people mention it.
I've never used it. Here is my general opinion about these hosted services, is that you choose a template and then you go with that template. And if you like the templates, that's fine. But your website is 100% going to look like someone else's, which may not be that big of a deal to you. And if you're just starting out, now I've moved into like client speak now. If you're just starting out and for the first little while, and if you're happy with just having that template that maybe like other companies and businesses have, it's not that big of a deal. You know, it's not going to kill you. I don't think that you're going to lose any business from that. Because I'm a developer, because I write code, I like to be in control of that. I like to know what code is in there, what the code is doing. If something isn't working the way I think it should be working, I can go in and fix it and redo it. If you're using one of these hosted services where you just have like some WYSIWYG editor, for those who don't know, WYSIWYG is an acronym for what you see is what you get. One of these WYSIWYG editors where you have to like set up like properties for the paragraphs, for padding and the margin, and they don't always look quite right. And then you have to like figure out what it is that you screwed up using some like drag and drop method. I like being in control. I like knowing exactly what's going on. However, maybe if you're more design oriented and you just want something that looks half decent so that you can like show off your other design projects, then yeah, maybe Wix is the way for you to go, is my opinion.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so yeah, so the free option is WordPress.com. I know that if you go and Google it, student free hosting. So apparently no upfront cost required. That's funny. Wix has free hosting. I don't like clicking on ads, so I'm not clicking on any of these. Best web hosting for students. There's some free ones and some paid ones. The only thing I'm going to say about the idea of these like free hosting is that you get what you pay for. So I don't know that all of these free hostings are going to be the best. But again, it's not like you're running this like massive application that you're expecting like hundreds of thousands of unique users to come every day. Like if you're just putting up a portfolio showing, some stuff that you've designed, then maybe one of these free options is, maybe the best for you. One thing I did want to show you though, speaking of free hosting, is GitHub will let you do pages where it's hosted directly from your GitHub repository. You just need to push to GitHub and it's on. Like with everything else, because it's free, it says down here at the bottom. So yeah, because it's free, you don't actually have your own domain name. It would be your username.github.io, which is pretty cool. I mean, again, if you just want some files somewhere for free, this might absolutely be the way that you want to go. I haven't actually tried setting this up. If anyone's interested, I could try to do it. We can try to do it. Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just want to add to GitHub. There's also W3 Schools also has free hosting, but you have to change all of like everything on it with code. So.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
a great resource. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, no problem. It's called Spaces, if that's helpful.
Oh yeah, right here. Here, I'll share this. Here, I'll share some more of these. So WordPress.com, that's in the chat. The pages on GitHub, there's a thing, and W3 Schools. And I mean, you have to remember that some of these, especially if they're like geared towards students, like github.com isn't, that would be free for whoever. Give it a try. Code directly in your browser, or I don't know that I don't feel good about that. Just recently I was I've gotten so used to Visual Studio Code and I have it set up and working exactly the way I like it to be working. And then for a project this week, I had to I'm using a lot of like big server words here, but I had to use PuTTY to SSH into the server, and I had to use VI to do terminal editing of an HTML file. And I hated it. I hated every second of it. It was the worst. So I don't like coding in the browser, but again, it's another free resource. So I absolutely wouldn't say no to that if that's the way that you want to lean and go. Thanks for finding this for me. This is good. It is easy to use. Try it.
May I have a question?
Yeah.
Do all these websites have the same storage, like limited or unlimited? Because I know some people, they are using a lot of information, like pictures, videos, whatever, and I think price depends on storage, right?
Well, I'm noticing that. So, for example, going back to Web Hosting Hub, their storage is unlimited. So it's not so much the storage. And if we go check out, already I'm here. No, wait, get hosting. If we go check out maybe some of these other ones, like unlimited space and traffic. So it's not the space that you need to be worried about. It is more, and they're not the performance and the speed. So see how on Web Hosting Hub, they've got the standard performance and then 2 times and 4 times. So they're literally saying, yeah, we've got faster servers, but you know what? You've got to pay twice as much if you want access to that. It's possible that, yeah, so here's Bluehost. They do have a limit on storage. It's going to depend on the plan. Storage space, yeah, so Wix is also have got limits on their storage. Squarespace, security, Squarespace has unlimited bandwidth. So those are the things that if you're running a real project, a real big project, bandwidth is probably going to be more important. That's how many users, every time a user comes to your site and basically downloads a page to their browser, that's taking up bandwidth. So the more users you have coming, And the more data is being sent out to a whole bunch of different browsers, that's the bandwidth. And so if they like throttle you after a certain point, then that could be a problem. I would think that if you plan on putting a lot of videos on your website, put them on YouTube and then just embed them on the page. It's going to be a lot easier and get you around the storage and even the bandwidth question, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm super curious. Of course, they're not going to say. Yeah, so the one thing I did want to say about if you're going to use GitHub, use GitHub Desktop. It is a super easy to use client that you're just going to be able to, I mean, quite frankly, you can use Visual Studio Code to push things to your repo. I still sometimes super like using GitHub Desktop. It's just a nice, GUI type program, and click buttons and it tells you when you can, when you need to pull before you push. And then and the cool thing maybe about you even using GitHub, I saw it on here somewhere, create a public repository and named it that. So you get one site per GitHub account and organization. So, but if you're working in a group, and maybe if you want to have like the group of you have some hosted website to show off the project that you're working on together as a group, you'd probably want this repo stuff anyway. So set up a new GitHub account that's just for that project, and you could have it hosted on github.com. Are there more questions?
I have a question that's kind of related. If we want to put like examples of coding we've done on our websites, like to show that we know how to code, do we like copy them into CodePen and embed them? Like, how do people do that?
Okay, let me super quickly. Yeah, here, let's do this. I'm going to go to my command prompt. This is all, I'm going to do this super fast. It should all be familiar to everybody. I'm going to get to my desktop. I'm going to make a directory called server demo. I'm going to get into that directory. I'm just setting up the typical project that you would do for your assignments or for any of the projects. I love having multiple monitors. Honestly, if you can get away with it, do it. I fought it for a while. I was like, really, does anybody need it? But yeah, it just makes life so much easier.
I bought a 24 inch for $50 of Kijiji. Few of them for 100.
That sounds good. Like it's at the point where I almost like my partner Andrew, he's got like one like really giant monitor, and I almost want to get like just to show him up a little bit. I almost want to get two of those, but like put them vertical. That seems to be the thing to do lately. Let's get like a nice big monitor and put it vertical just so that you can have more code on the screen, which is ridiculous, but I kind of want to. So yeah, let's just do this quickly. Hold on, I've done something. Looks right. No, what have I done wrong? And then create a public directory, and in here an index.html. And I've gone over to a different window and grabbed this, and I'm just going to say server demo. Hello, server demo. So if I come back here and do npm start, Everyone has seen this, right? Just a simple light server, getting it started, working it locally, etc., whatever. Closing this. Now that I have this directory and I have the files in that directory, because I've kept everything separate, when I put them on the server, I don't need package.json. I'm only using that for the light server, the local development environment. I billion% don't need to put up node_modules. Again, local development environment. The only thing that I need to put on the server is this stuff in this public directory. So if I come back to my site and yeah, let's just let's just drag this over and then rename it. Server demo. And then, oops, amandalutz.com/server demo.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it. That's how servers work. So I mean, when you go for your hosting, whether it be not so much like not so much the hosted services, but if you get your own, hosting package from a company like the shared host or whatever, or the GitHub pages, you just need to drag your files, your HTML file, into the public_HTML.
So let's say, for instance, you post with GoDaddy, right? Or no, let's use another one. I saw your face.
Even just X. Just be like company X. Even that would make me happier.
Company X.
Yes.
They would normally provide you with like or would they provide you with the credentials to link FileZilla to
So when you with these shared host packages, they will send you an email that has like the username that they've given you, the password that you either entered or that they gave you or whatever. And usually what happens is you will have two different URLs. One will be the URL. Well, no, it's like, I'm going to have to get into that in a second. I'll do that now. So when you register your domain name, here, let me go to my name's pro. It looks awful and antiquated, but I've been here for a very long time. So when you go and look at the domains, what you need to do is you need to update the DNS info, which is like the name servers. When you rent the shared hosting package, they send you an email that has the name servers in it. And then you just need to come back here to where you registered your domains and add this information in. You can see down here, specify your own name servers. Here's the one, here's the two. It's whatever the hosting company emailed you and told you to use. So that's fine. Then that's how you can get to your domain name, and it will point to the server, point to the files that are sitting on your server. The hosting company will generally also give you what is called cPanel, which is just a control panel. And it's usually your domain name /cPanel, as you can see there. And when you log in, this is what's going to let you control a lot of stuff that's happening in your hosting package. Now, this is maybe a little advanced stuff that we don't really need to get into today. I'm happy to maybe do this again in a few weeks if people want to dig a bit deeper into the cPanel, but I think it would be better, like, if you end up having like the shared hosting package and get in and look at your options and see what there is, and then come back to me with questions. I feel like that's going to be a better use of time than me just like showing you literally exactly everything that's happening. But here in the cPanel, you can set up FTP user accounts. Again, that welcome email will tell you, what the default FTP credentials are, but then you can also set up other ones. So as you can see, I don't even, what is that for? I don't know. I've set up like random FTP accounts. And then it's also from the cPanel where you could set up subdomains. So as you can see here, I've got like a bunch of client work happening in different subdomains. And then it's also from the cPanel that if you wanted to, you could create email accounts. I personally use Gmail. I like their archiving a lot more. I have, I used to have like a, what was it called? A G Suite. It was like their admin package. It was grandfathered in a long time ago. They're now changing it to Google Workspace. I need to go figure that out and actually start paying for it. Fart noise. But so I use Gmail for my emails. But if you wanted to set up a bunch of different email accounts that work with your domain name, you could do that here in the cPanel. So there are a lot of things that you could have access to. As you can see, there's a file manager. You can set up some Git version control. I've never touched that. Set up databases, like if you're doing something with WordPress. We did this, well, I didn't, yeah. If anybody wants to like go and get their own domain name and then go get their own shared hosting, and if you want some help setting up WordPress, I can absolutely help you with that. And then other advanced stuff that, yeah. But I feel like this is maybe a good overall intro.
Question again. So you purchased this entire package on Names Pro.
I use namespro.ca to register my domain names.
I see.
As you can see, I've got like a bunch, eight in total. I like to get both .com and .ca for as much as I can. AmandaLutz.com, AmandaLutz.ca. StuffyLove.com, StuffyLove.ca. That's just me. Also, I've been working for a while. I can afford to, you know, do that for my fun projects or whatever.
Yeah.
You as students, it may not be an option.
And then the cPanel comes with the hosting company.
That is correct.
I see why you hate GoDaddy.
No, and like I said, with where did that other window go? Too many windows, Amanda. So with a lot of these hosting packages, like look, you get a free domain. And look, all the times, I don't see it here. You generally get a free domain whenever you like sign up for the hosting package. It's just, I've been doing this for so long and I've like changed hosting companies. So like every few years, whenever they start pissing me off, as you can see on my cPanel, like my plan used to have unlimited add-on domains and now they don't. And it's like, well, when the fuck did that change? I used to be able to have unlimited MySQL databases, and now it's limited. It's like, well, I used to be able to have unlimited aliases and now there's a limit on it. And it's like, when did that change? I have no idea. So subdomains, I have a limit on. Yeah. So for a lot of reasons and cost, you know, as we were just looking, some of these costs look a lot better than what I'm paying right now. I might change hosting again. If I had my domain names all registered with the same company I was hosting with, then it's like, do you also transfer the domain name? Do you leave the domain name where it was and you still have to deal with that company that you're sick of dealing with, whatever. That's just how I like doing it. Specifically, my ickiness for GoDaddy is I've had a lot of support issues with them. I've had a lot of issues calling support and trying to get help, where I would have to call back like 3 or 4 times and talk to 3 or 4 different people before I actually got somebody who was smart enough to know what I was talking about and what I needed help with, whether or not they could actually help me. Just understanding what I needed help with. I've had clients like, oh, I've been with GoDaddy forever. And it's like, and you go and you look at the package that they have versus the new packages that are available, and they're paying like 3 times as much for half the resources. And it was like, GoDaddy, why are you being such a dick to all of your existing customers? That's just my personal opinions. I do know other people who use GoDaddy all the time and enjoy them and have no problems with them and recommend them to everyone. That's not me. That's not my experience.
People are swayed by their really good Super Bowl ads, probably.
Mhm. Probably not a good motion to make. They're not even that good. I don't know. Back in the day, they at least were interesting, but yeah, I don't think they're that interesting anymore. Anyway, okay, so I was really hoping to keep tonight limited to not more than an hour, and right now we're clocking at about 45 minutes, so we're not doing bad. I still want to be here and answer any questions that anybody has, but I think that at least high level, I've given you stuff to at least start thinking about, start looking at. I think that anywhere you register a domain name, you can go and search to see what's available, but I like using whois. Whois.com. Yeah. So this is, I mean, you can also purchase your domain through Whois because whatever, but yeah, I use Whois just for searching. Let's see. I would have bought that. You would have seen me buy that right now if asdf.com was available. But as you can see, there's like they offer suggestions.live, Toronto, you know, ADFs, asdf.com, .org, global, yeah, .online. I don't know, apparently that's a thing now. Show more results, .net. So yeah, sometimes it's fun when I'm like thinking of a project idea and I just want to like kill some time and still bill it to the client. I'll like go and play and see what kind of domain names are available and if I change it around, and yeah. Are there any other questions?
I guess not pertaining to this, but would you do another session like this regarding charging clients?
Oh, I would have to think about that. I'm always happy sharing all of the information that I have, but if I start doing sessions like this on my own time, I'm gonna have like students asking for different topics that are gonna like take up every single night for the rest of my semester, and I don't have time for that. So you're not in any of my classes this semester. This could be something that if you have me in a future semester for 320, 420, we can always talk about it in class one day. Sometimes like a work session will happen. And if you don't need help with the assignment that the work session is for, and you just want to talk about any random topic, I'm happy to go off on tangents then. If there's enough interest, like there was a lot of people asking about like this hosting thing. So I felt that it was worth it. I mean, it's information that a lot of people want. So I'm happy to like set aside time out of my life to tell you, you know, ramble on, you know, about all of the stuff that I know. I'm happy to do that. So I mean, if there are enough people who have that interest, I can try to talk about stuff. But you've got to remember that I've been in this game for a long time, and so my rate and dealing with clients is going to be a lot different than somebody who's just finishing school.
And may I ask? Oh, sorry.
Okay, George.
May I ask, is there anything security-wise that we would have to worry about when we're starting our own website?
No, because again, like security is a really big issue with shopping carts and with e-com, and you're not doing anything like that. You don't have customer information. You definitely don't have any payment information, because just, you know, with the shared hostings, you're going to be keeping all of the files on your local machine anyway, and then you just move them to the FTP server, move them via FTP to the server so that other people can look at them. If something happens, if somehow your site gets hacked, if the company goes belly up, you got to find some other hosting, something's got to be fixed, you still have all of your files. So you just need to either delete everything on the server and move them up again, or take them with you to the new hosting company that you're using. If you use something like the hosted services, like Wix and Squarespace, I'm sure they have options for exporting your content. It could be like in a proprietary format, you know, so it's hard to like migrate from one thing to another. But I mean, you're paying a lot more per month to use that service. Their security is generally pretty tight. And again, and they have like backups on a regular basis. And even if their security isn't like the tightest, even if they do have like a security flaw, again, you're not dealing with like customer credit card information. So I really don't think that you're in a spot where it's that vulnerable. I mean, yeah, somebody could be a jerk and go in and try to hack your Wix account to, you know, make it look like you've got devil horns on all of your pictures. But I'm pretty sure that any of the hosted services has got tight enough security that, you know, if anyone's gonna break into Wix and try to do something malicious, they're probably gonna try to do it to a bigger company and not just a new grad, not a student who's trying to put up a portfolio.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
I want to ask, if I want to buy the domain, should I always go to .com, or can I go for something like .live, .top? I'm just not sure if it will affect the SEO if I choose something else.
I don't. So SEO is such a both broad and super specific specialization that like that's like a whole different career, like actually having good SEO. I don't think that the suffix, see me learn, actually matters when it comes to SEO, but it's more things like, did you register the domain name for 1 year, or did you register it for 3 years? If you got it for 3 years, then you're probably more serious about being around for a while. I've heard that it helps your SEO ranking. Same with the hosting. And this is all stuff that, like, if you go to, here, let's see. So amandalutz.com is, hold on. .com is not unavailable. So if I do a who is search, you can see that the registrar is NamesPro, and you can see when it expires and when it was registered. So for SEO purposes, they could see that, oh yeah, you know, oh, they got this for the 3 years. Oh, for more than that. Wow, I registered that name for a long time. So yeah, and it was updated on 2017. So yeah, you can see like this information is publicly available. So it's more that how long was it registered for? That's going to help with SEO. How much content is actually on the site? That's going to help with SEO. Is it all related content? That's going to help with SEO. Links going out to legitimate sites, links coming back into you from legitimate sites. That is all going to help with SEO. I honestly don't think that they care if you have a .com or a .ca or a .info or a .org or a .io. I don't think it matters.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been a while since I've been here. Technical contact. So yeah, look at all that. Look at all that, just raw who is data. And I think I even paid extra to have the security, the domain registration security, so that instead of my name showing up everywhere, it's like, it's the private, the namespro.ca private who is. Rambles. Okay. So yeah, are there any other questions? Cool. So then I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about tonight. Again, let me put my Here, I'm going to put my email address in the public chat for those who don't have it or don't know it yet. You can send me emails and ask me questions. Like I said, if you are super interested in another topic that you think that maybe I might have some information about, you can always send me an email to, see if I know anything about that. I think I'm going to stop sharing now. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you all for coming out on like at night during midweek. I hope that I hope this time was okay and worked out for most of you. And yeah, hey, tell your friends that they missed out, that I'm witty and entertaining.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank
much,
you.
Amanda.
You're welcome, everyone. I'm going to, once I figure out where this recording is saved, I don't know, I saved it to the cloud. I will share that information with COSAR and ask her to make another announcement to the classes so that, you and everybody else can see this video later. That's it.
All right.
I'm done.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye. See you on Monday.